Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Imperial Glory. So yes, I'm sorry about what happened at the end of the last one. I didn't realise I was actually running out of recording space that quickly, but thankfully I caught the end of the battle, and that's the important thing. So, the war against the French, we're finally starting to get the one up on them. We won several major battles, we're now inside their territory with our great commanders Wellington, Moore and Picton. And, looking at the current status, they've now upgraded all their captains to colonels, which would be worrying some if not for the fact that only one of them had any troops to his name. Colonel Soult has 2 wounded units of voltigeurs and 2 units of Howitzers. And Colonels Darault, Besseriers, de Hautpoul and Perigon, I apologise if I butcher those pronunciations, have no troops to their names whatsoever. So France is in a bit of a pickle right now. So, Captain Calder can move into that territory to acquire it, or occupy it, and Somerset can move over there, because we don't need to worry about the French taking over, sneaking into Spain anytime soon, I hope. Meanwhile, I think I can move a captain into here, and these 2 would be instantly killed or eliminated. I'm not sure. But either way, no troops in the military academy, no troops in these 2, so we've just got 2. I could probably win a battle with that with just Moore himself. Well, I want Wellington to take. Wellington is Wellington. He needs to lead the charge into France. So I'm thinking. And also, here's more Austrian troops in Prussia. Enough distractions. Right. So first off, I'm just going to quickly check the building status. Okay, so the good news is now we've got our advanced barracks in Portugal. We can now recruit grenadiers, which are essentially upgraded line infantries. They take a bit more money, a lot more population, and 2 turns instead of 1. Let's actually just compare them. They actually take less raw materials, funnily enough. Not sure if that's because we're trained. Yeah, less raw materials. 6, a lot more money, and a lot more population, but less resources. Ah well. Anyway, that's all well and done. I'll get these guys fixed eventually once I get the raw materials, but the main concern right now is France itself. So, I'm thinking, Wellington, lead the charge into Paris itself, followed by Moore with the cavalry. Picton, on the other hand, unfortunately, is laden with the duties of taking out these 2 remaining colonels, but at least he doesn't have the job of Calder and Somerset, which is essentially just occupying these territories. I'm thinking if I keep all these territories occupied and then make peace with France, I'll annex all of them, and then France will just be left with Paris itself, and there will be no threat whatsoever, which will be glorious. Let's see how this goes. Yep, I think Picton just eliminated both of those colonels. An easy battle, 299 troops versus 200 less. And they can't run because this is their capital, so we're going to eradicate them. Welcome to Paris. This city will witness a battle truly worthy of its majesty. I wouldn't say that, because those guys are just going to get mulched by a whole load of cavalry. Although now that I think about it, the light infantry could just hide in buildings, but at least I brought in my own infantry this time. We must control 2 objectives. The first is the Madeleine. Its strategic importance cannot be understated. Or we could just kill them all. That would be a simpler option. We won't have to wait half a frickin' hour. The Crillion Hotel. Or the Crillion. Still, whatever the case. Belatom Square. This is a truly great city, men. Ensure that your efforts today are worthy of your presence. Well, So each main capital province is essentially more of an urban environment for the most part. In England, the capital is essentially one big castle, so it's almost like a medieval siege. While here, the Paris has lots of buildings, some of which can be occupied, most of which. Prussia has Brandenburg Paris, which is one big building, and Austria has the Imperial Palace, which is a small collection of large buildings, and then Russia has Moscow, which is a small town with several large buildings in it. Either way, we're going to march straight down the streets. We're going to leave behind the weakened unit of cavalry and just bring these two. The two strong ones can hit the infantry, the weaker one can hit the artillery. Oh, would you look at that? They lined the cannons right up for us. Right, so they can easily occupy the Madeleine. That's probably what they're going to do right away. So they can't occupy... Well, they can occupy these buildings. They're not actually occupying the hotel, funnily enough. In fact, if I get these guys running, perhaps we can... Right, you two run. Right, go straight for the houses. Now charge! I've lost a few horses, but it's just a few. Nothing big. And now, get them. Oh yes. Those guys are going to have a bad time. We don't even need the infantry. Now, Hauser has actually tried to shoot at us from that distance. They probably would have killed more of their own men than they did us. Well, would you look at that? Victory is ours after less than a minute of actual fighting. And with that, 11 casualties to 99. The siege of Paris has begun. Now the country has been free from the rule of Austria, there have been mass desertions by all the troops from that's something I didn't actually know until now. So if you recruit troops in a province like these, and you loot, so they desert. Right, I'm glad I know that now. Right, so Aquitaine is now ours, I think. Brittany, 50-55. Province doesn't get much. Brittany, right, so that has a port. We definitely want that. Oh, and both the colonels actually fled that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I miscounted. So we can't take all of them. But Brittany we definitely want. So Wellington. Somerset Hove here. Picton go this way. Wellington, kill those two captains. And Moore colonels. Keep that. We want to make peace with France by occupying all these territories. So Provence is the... Yeah, that makes the least amount of money compared to the capital, so we can let France keep that. So I'm sure they'll be willing to make peace next turn. But for the meantime, I think it's time we got... I'm building an advanced military academy in Castile. And actually, once we secure these territories, it's going to be worth getting some advanced stuff here, so that, because since it's a lot easier to ship them overseas. So I'm actually going to discharge these two houses because I'm not going to be using them, and that gives us lots of raw materials, which we could get an advanced barracks to get some proper redcoats. So now I can recruit them from two places. We're getting an advanced academy there, advanced troops there, blah, 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 blah. So now I'll save up and get some new horses. I will repair the Royal Navy eventually, don't you worry. An advanced military academy is now in Castile. So now we can recruit colonels there. And oddly enough, there's one French ship, the sloop Indomptable, which is the size of the blockade Portugal by itself. Either way, now that we've occupied all this territory, let's see if the French are willing to make peace. Oh, the Ottomans, so they've lost Greece. It must have been to Austria. What about 100 gold? What about 500 gold? What about 600 gold? They're asking us for a better offer. How about 800? Excellent! We have now annexed a whole load of territory. What about peace with the Ottomans so that they don't bother us? Excellent. No more wars, and look at all this. So much of the map is now red. And France, right, we can technically invade next turn, but if we do it within the next 6 turns, everyone will hate us even more, because we've essentially just bungled a peace treaty. Right, so advanced barracks. We'll get around to repairing these guys, but first off, I think we can... want to get some more hussars going. So Captain Calder can head towards Portugal to pick those guys up to reinforce more in his horses. I'm gonna reinforce those guys. Colonel Picton, Captain Somerset. You know, we might as well start swapping. We'll gather these guys together and start swapping soldiers, so we can get as many full strength troops as possible. I don't know. We might as well get some more colonels going as well once we have time. But for the time being, let's leave it for now. I could just discharge these guys, but I'm not sure if it's serving as a deterrent to other countries from invading, knowing that there are troops stationed here. Oh, whatever. It's going to be a bit of a quiet period now. I was considering trying to set up some diplomatic ties with Morocco to try and start up a peaceful annexation. I think it might take a hell of a long time. They've only got basic militia. And we've got a square formation now, so it's probably going to be easier just to set up a group of troops in Portugal and start a North African campaign and just sweep our way down along this side, while the main army with Wellington focuses on Europe itself. So, Picton. Can we actually? So, we can't merge troops from different nationalities. So, we might want to focus on just using English troops and just have these guys as a backup. We'll use the Portuguese ones for the North African campaign. But thankfully, now that we control most of the channel, we can easily ship some troops over. So, let's get... although we're going to need resources for that. So I'm just going to go through the next few turns, organise things, and then go from there. Okay, so it's been the next turn. We've got an advanced cavalry research, which we're now moving towards subsidised farms. And with that, we've gained access to one of the best quests, I think, that is around. The Simon Bolivar quest. We just need a lot of populations, an advanced military academy, and a lot of gold. And then all of our basic infantry regiments will be upgraded immediately to superior regiments and restoring their numbers. We definitely want that. We just need 10,000 gold. We're making a lot per turn, so no problems with that front. So I'm not going to be recruiting anything new for the next few turns. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a couple of turns and we now have the resources we need for the Simon Bolivar quest. This is money and stuff I'm very happy to spend, because it saves us a lot of time in upgrading our units. Oh yes. Ladies and gentlemen, all of our line infantry has just become Grenadier cards. Some of the toughest, most skilled men in the British Army. 42 melee, 50 gun, more body armour, and a little bit of extra range. And I wonder... our foreign troops have been upgraded as well to the Grenadiers. Marvellous. So, France, you've been recruiting a couple of new troops, but I think they'd just be colonels without many troops to their name. So I've done some reorganising. Sadly, our cavalry is still the same as it was before, but we can hopefully get some, now that we've done that, we can get some more hussars coming in from England. We also want to, actually no, scratch that. We want, we're going to need to build an advanced in academy there so that we can get some troops. Well, I think, let's take victory. We'll start to move Calder over. We can get some troops ferried over that way. So yeah, get some hussars trained in England. It's annoying that I can't actually see precisely how much money I've got because of DX Tory numbers. I could move them, but then they'd be blocking something else. And we should start building up forces in Portugal and Spain. A new commander, except I don't have the money for that. For the North African campaign, I'll have captains for moving troops around and then commanders or colonels and such for actual battles because we want as many troops as possible. Morocco should be easy to take over if they've just got militia. Aside from that, not much else. Alright, so a quick update. It's been a few turns and nothing much has happened. I've just been reorganising my troops. The only other things that have happened is that Batavia has now bowed to the might of Prussia, which means that Prussia is looking to be our next major rival with 3 capitals here. And also I noticed a while ago that they've gone for democracy from the looks of it. I just didn't actually get around to saying it. And another couple of other countries have been disappearing off the turns list as well, so no doubt Russia and Austria are working hard as well. I was going to start training grenadiers in Portugal to go alongside our new captain here, Colonel Uxbridge. However, I've actually just realised that we've got what we need for the Ruler of the Seas quest. 4,000 gold, 4,500 for a lot of population, wharf. It does seem like quite a bit, but we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 free ports, military ports, and as a result of that, 6 free sloops. Dang, dang, dang. Look at this. Sloop HMS Agamemnon. Sloop HMS Africa. Sloop HMS Ajax from Deadpool. Sloop HMS Royal Sovereign. Sloop HMS Orion. Sloop HMS Minotaur. Sloop HMS Spotlight. This is the Royal Navy, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all of these ships. Yes! All of a sudden, England has become the naval powerhouse of the world. Yes! Alright, now I need to build up some funds again in order to get these last few fixed, which is going to be a bit... Can I at least get Britannia fixed? Yes. Just to get these symbols to go away. But we're making a good amount of wood, raw materials and gold per turn. Population is still a bit of a concern. The food might be as well. But we should be okay. You might as well see her out getting France off the map as well. Although then that will give us a border with Prussia, which we don't really want until we have the troops to maintain. But I have got Captain Calder moving up to England, where he's going to drop off these militia and then pick up some grenadier guards and hussars. We're going to leave the riflemen here as a sort of an honour guard of England. You'll miss out on all the fighting, but you'll be our honour guard. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for these long breaks, but of course during peace times like this it's not usually a lot happens. So a quick update. I'm starting to train grenadiers in Portugal now. I've moved Captain Somerset and his men into the barrack, into the academy for now, and I've moved most of my ships into military harbours for the time being, just to cut down on the amount of food that's being eaten by our troops. And I think now we've got I've looked at the troops that Prussia is fielding. Militia and cannons. Weakened grenadiers and cannons. Militia, weakened line infantry and cannons. Militia. So not actually a great deal of hard-hitting troops. If it was the likes of heavy or large amounts of infantry and cavalry, we'd have a worrying some. But militia, no longer the threat they used to be. So I'm thinking it's time for me to finally get France off of the map. I am going to need to delegate a commander to occupy the territory for the time being while we're here. But I think we can manage it. So next turn, Austria, France, Piedmont and the Helvetia. Of course they'd have made friends with Austria. And Prussia is now allied with Russia and Sweden and Saxony. We shouldn't really have anything to fear from Austria. They would have a right of passage through Prussia. How long ago was that made? Piedmont. Of course, those troops, they've gotten themselves guards. Right, scratch that plan. I don't want to take unnecessary casualties for taking over the likes of France. I don't want to risk them suddenly sneaking through and taking these countries back, because that would freaking annoy me because I've built all this stuff. We're going to leave it another couple of turns. Going to give Captain Calder a chance to get back with his reinforcements and leave it at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if this has been a rather short and uneventful episode. But next episode is going to be the one where we put the final nail in France's coffin and perhaps make a start on our North African campaign once we get our troops fielded on that front. Though it's going to take a bit longer because grenadiers take 2 turns to train apart from 1. Like colonels. And then maybe we'll see about making the first moves into Prussia, though I get the feeling once we take over France, they're going to move all their troops over in this way because of the incoming threat from us, which I wouldn't blame them for, but I'm going to call it there. Thank you all very much for watching. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed, and that you will join me for the next episode of Imperial Glory.